Hello, and welcome to our show for the love of animals. Stay tuned. We're going to transport you to a new realm about animals. I'm Darleen Pigford.
And I'm Greg Baur. I love the way you lead into those
Oh,
things
absolutely,
sometimes.
Greg.
You throw me little curves every so often with it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, along with our little friend Wicket, who's going to sleep now, we're so glad that you've joined us today. And
How about our upcoming shows, Greg?
Well, there's a couple that are coming, and we've got so many of them on the drawing board, but one we want to do with Lost and Found, and we want to do one on hummingbirds.
All right.
So the viewers just need to stay tuned.
Put that on their future calendars, right?
So, but let's get with today, because I want to know about how to transport.
Well, Greg, we are featuring a local rescue group who are involved in the transport of animals from one area to another area where they're more adoptable. So why don't you introduce our
I'll
guest
be happy
today?
to. Well, and they also do rescue work
They do
too.
rescue work,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, well, down at the other end of the table, on the right of the two is Shannon Lacewell, who's the director of Paws, and More. And Terri Lee Nelson to her left, who lives here in Paducah and is a volunteer with the organization. And thank you both for taking time to share with us today your stories and lots of good information about what you're doing. We're looking forward to that. So, with that short introduction.
Well, Terri, tell us that you're in the rescue and transport business. So you rescue, what, cats and dogs?
We do cats, dogs, birds, all animals.
Oh, okay, all animals. Okay. What is this transport? That's kind of a new thing for us.
After we fully vet, spay and neuter all animals, then we do adoptions in the New England area. And we transport our dogs there, but we also help other groups get their dogs to the area because there's more of adoption base there. The dogs are spayed and neutered there, so they don't have the amount of dogs that we have here.
Okay. Okay, so you find animals that you think might be adoptable, and then you physically transport them to the New England area where you can find homes for them.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, is this bus? Is it, what?
Well, depending on the amount of animals that go, we have a truck and a trailer. The trailer's air conditioned, and we have 2 vans that we use. So it just depends on the amount of animals that are going at that time. We can do usually 15 dogs in the van and then still have enough room. So most of the time it's in the van. But if we have, 30 or more dogs, then they go by trailer.
Okay. So you have quite a gas bill.
Yes. And a vet bill.
How long, when did you start this, and how long has your program been going on?
Well, my group has been around for several years, but in the last 2 years, it's really grown quite a bit to over 80 dogs, cats, and other animals.
And so you use fostering there. You don't have a shelter per se.
No, we do not have a shelter, a physical shelter. My friend and I both have the majority of the dogs with us, but we do have fosters who take care of special needs dogs. We get a lot of puppy mill dogs who have to have their teeth pulled out, who don't have any teeth. We have several sanctuary dogs who live with us permanently who are blind and deaf. So.
Okay, and so you and your friend take care of 80 animals currently, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And you work.
Yes.
Outside,
We both work, yes.
In addition, that's a full-time job.
And the friend's name was Dawn Alexander, I think.
It's Dawn Armstrong.
Dawn Armstrong. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
She works here for home care.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Oh my goodness. But this must be a farm situation?
It is. Dawn has a pretty good sized piece of property, and I live on my grandparents' farm that my dad now owns, and it's about 300 acres there, 200 to 300 acres. So, and then my yard where the dogs can be is fenced in with about 13 acres on it.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, let's put a picture to this. You brought us some wonderful pictures of some of the animals, and I believe the first one is about a dog named Gizmo.
Yeah, Gizmo came to us last week, and Gizmo was brought because the man lost his job. He lived in Illinois, and he called me crying because he said, I can't keep my dog. I can't afford to keep it. And he did take this dog religiously to the vet. So that was the big issue. He said, I can't afford to take my dog to the vet. I can't give up my kids, so I have to give up my dog. And he was quite upset. He came to PetSmart, which is where we do a lot of our adoption events. We're usually there about 5 times a month. And I said, just meet me at PetSmart. And he came, and told me all about the dog. And they stayed around for a long time. I guess they wanted to watch me to make sure I was...
You're going to take care of their
baby.
baby.
And after being there, and they see that we care about the animals.
Okay.
So-
Now, so is Gizmo with you, or is he in New England now?
No, Gizmo's still here. The only thing that he hadn't had done to Gizmo is he hadn't had him vetted yet. He hadn't been neutered yet. He'd been
Gotcha.
to the vet several times for other issues, and he was just fixing to have him neutered, so he will be neutered.
Okay.
Okay.
And tell us about another dog that you're helping called Puff.
Okay, Puff, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, okay. I don't want you to.
Puff was found walking on the side of the road. He was big and fuzzy. In the picture you see, he doesn't have any hair now.
Uh-huh.
And we never found his owner. And underneath all that hair, because he'd been wet, he was sore. He had sores everywhere.
Oh.
Which we used Promaris on the dogs, and he looks great now. I mean, last night I couldn't believe how much better he looked.
Oh, so he was just abandoned somehow on the road?
Yeah.
And you found
And not skinny underneath there, so I think probably sometime he was somebody's dog. They just couldn't keep him, so they set him free. Thank
Oh.
goodness somebody found him and brought him to us. So
And so he is with you waiting adoption?
he is, yes. We took all of his hair off, poor little Puff. He looked like a huge dog. There wasn't much dog under all that hair, and he'll be neutered,
Oh, okay.
and then
All
he'll
right.
go.
Well, and Terri, how did you get started with Paws, Claws, and More?
Well, what happened was my mom was looking at to adopt, and she was on PetFinder.com, and she was like, "Y'all see all the cute little animals on, around this area, and all this." So I got on there, and since McCracken County doesn't have a website, I was like, well, the next closest place would be Mayfield. So I just kind of looked I found her, and there was a dog on there that had heartworm, and they needed a donation to get the medication
Right.
for that dog. And so I called their vet and asked them how much it would cost to get the treatment, and they told me, and I sent them a check, and they got the treatment started. And then she emailed me and thanked me for the donation. Next thing you know, we're working together. So
She knew how to get a good
yeah,
hook in there.
she hooked me, yeah.
Good volunteer there.
So it's worked out ever since. We've worked, really hard to try to, to get the word out about them here in Paducah.
Okay, so you're like the Paducah representative because Paws and Claws is located physically in Mayfield, right?
Yeah, we're in.
Okay, and so
Yes.
you're kind of the, like I said, the Paducah representative, volunteer, coordinator.
Coordinator, I think, she does the hard work. I just try to get the word out and find them some places to have events and use our medical spa that we have to give discounts
Uh-huh.
in order to give her some funding for it. So, yeah.
It sounds very interesting, and we're going to be hearing more about it in the next segments. But right now, I think it's time for us to take a little break,
Right.
and we have a happy tale.
No, it's a forget-me-not.
You changed on me.
That's my prerogative. We have a
What can I
forget-me-not
say? Okay.
about a very special little Nelson family dog.
Yes.
So listen up.
Known as Mikey.
Yes.
We found Mikey at a shelter in Madisonville. He was about 9 years old and had no chance of adoption because of his physical problems. He stayed with us for about 9 months, and then one day he had a heart attack and passed away. Despite his illness, he seemed so appreciative of the loving care that we were able to give him. He was not with us that long, but we still feel very blessed that he was able to share some time with us. All of us in the Nelson family loved him, and we know that he is resting well with our Lord. Mikey, thank you for sharing your last few months with us. You will never be forgotten.
That was really a wonderful story about Mikey, and we would like to, because he was such a special dog to the Nelsons, we would like to dedicate our show today to the Nelson family and Mikey. And we hope that he's doing well up in dog heaven, and we're sure he is. So, with that standpoint, Shannon, let's go back and take a look at some more of those animal stories. What about Bitsy?
Bitsy is a cat that I found back in the winter that was semi-frozen, and we warmed her back up and bottle fed her, and she now lives with my aunt who adopted her. Of course, I cried like a baby when I dropped her there, and she treats her wonderfully. So that's one of our happy tales that this cat actually lived, because I didn't even think she was alive when I picked her up. She was a tiny little kitten, and we saved her.
Oh my God, what a sweet story, and it was wonderful that she has found a home here locally. So,
Yeah.
You are located in, actually in Mayfield, right?
We're in Graves County.
Grace County, okay. So if I wanted to send a donation to Paws, Claws, and More to help you in your efforts, what's the mailing address?
It's P.O. Box 82, Wingo, Kentucky, 42088.
Okay. And if I wanted to go to the website to read more about your organization, where would I go?
It's PCM Rescue at Comcast.net.
Okay.
Okay.
And do you have an email in case I wanted to call and say, hey, Shannon, I'm ready to volunteer and help you out? How could I contact you by email?
It's lacewellshannon@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And her phone number is?
And phone number?
270-705-5794.
Okay. And Terri, as the representative, how could I email you if I wanted to help you out at the activities here for Paws and Claws in Paducah?
It'd be Nelson and then Terri Lee at hotmail.com.
And that's Terri.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful, good contact information.
Absolutely.
Tell us, Terri, what has been going on here in Paducah for Paws and Claws?
Well, they do go to PetSmart quite often.
Uh-huh.
We also, they can't have every weekend. They have to share.
I
so-
know, at PetSmart.
Yeah.
But now that's dogs. Wait a minute. You have cats at
Yes.
PetSmart
Yes.
on a rotating basis, and then you do cats and dogs, what, on Saturdays?
Fridays and Saturdays.
Fridays
Yeah.
and Saturdays. And probably you transport dogs more than cats because, or not,
Yes,
right?
we do.
Because they're easier to handle
Yeah.
in that kind of environment, so.
And we just started using Kroger's on Park Avenue, their lot, for adoptions and donations. And
Uh-huh.
we just started doing that every month. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a great response there. And she had several adoptions, I think, the last time. And we'll be having another one coming up this fall, so.
Oh,
she,
so
yeah.
look for it in the paper or
Mhm.
local
Yes,
advertisements, right?
yes, I use the newspaper.
Now, this is outside, right?
Yes, it is.
How do you handle cats, outside and in the heat?
They are in a trailer where there's air conditioning.
conditioned.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So they are, and she's always giving them water and food throughout the whole,
Okay,
because they're
so-
there all day.
Okay. Yeah, because usually you want to take an animal out of the cage, to pet it, but then that would be a good chance for a cat to get frightened and you're going to lose that cat. So
Right.
that is a great way to do that. So I think we have some more pictures of dogs that have been rescued, Shannon. Tell us about Bassett.
Old Man Bassett is a dog that we pulled from a shelter in Missouri that has the gas chamber. And so when I go there, I try to pull as many dogs as I can to
Uh-huh.
help them out. And he's blind. You can't see in the picture, but he's blind in his left eye.
Is
And
he?
he's about 9 years old. And he actually has pretty good teeth for an older dog. We had him neutered and had all his shots done, and he got to keep his teeth. So
Oh,
he's in
okay.
halfway decent shape, and he goes where he wants to on my farm. He doesn't leave the fenced-in area, but he does. He comes and goes and does what he wants to,
Oh,
because he
that's-
doesn't bother anything.
Sounds like he has a home with you.
Well, he could stay with me if we didn't find. It's really hard to find a home for a dog that old that's not a specialty small
Right.
fuzzy dog.
Uh-huh.
So he can live with me if he doesn't find a home.
Yeah, but he would make a great pet for someone, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Now he does like to ride in the trailer when we're loading to get ready to go to
Oh, he
PetSmart.
does?
Sometimes he loads himself. And he goes.
Oh, so if people wanted to see Bassett, they could come to the next adoption event,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Oh, how neat.
That's worked out nicely. And one of the things I think our viewers need to really think about when you're looking at an animal for adoption, a lot of people are shy away from an animal who may be a little bit older or who may have some kind of
Little
handicap or
imperfect.
disability. And those animals are just as loving as any, quote, regular animal. And our viewers should really think about that
Right, they
because
make
they
good
need
pets.
homes too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have another dog named Cash. Tell us that story.
Cash is an American bulldog that came from a Hopkinsville shelter, and he was heartworm positive, and they don't treat heartworm positive dogs there.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine found him there and brought him to us, and we heartworm treated him. He looks much better now. He'd had a rough time. In the last 4 months, we've treated about 50 heartworm positive dogs.
50.
Yeah. We got some dogs from a puppy mill, and about 30 of those were heartworm positive.
Oh, my
Mostly small
goodness.
dogs like your dog.
Mm.
This was a shock. a lot of Cocker Spaniels and Poodles and Min Pins and just different dogs, and we do whatever has to be done to the dog. We try to take care of all of that before we adopt the dog out. And heartworm treatment is one of them.
Oh boy, you have a big vet bill.
Yeah, we do.
And with transport, you have a big gas bill too.
The good thing about our vets is they let us make payments on our vet bill, so
okay.
they know if the trailer's moving, we're going to pay on our vet bills.
Oh my goodness, well, it's wonderful that you do give vet care, because so many, quote, groups do not give vet care, and people think, well, oh, it goes to this society or this group, and they don't realize it does not get vet care.
No.
And if it's sick, it just stays sick. So
We have a lot of people who say, I can go someplace else and get a dog for $10. I said, you can, but it's not going to have everything done to it, and then it's going to be your responsibility, and it's going to be more than what we charge for a dog. Because we do have an adoption fee, but it goes back to the vet.
Right. But that dog would have had a rabies shot. Its eyes and ears would have been checked probably.
Yep.
It's been spayed and neutered.
Yep.
And
it's heartworm tested.
Heartworm tested. And if it's a cat, I think you do tests for
Feline
leukemia. So you get, quote, a healthy, as best you know of, a healthy animal.
Yes.
So that's worth a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's wonderful that your group is doing that. How long have you been in this business? How many years?
My group's been around for about 10 years, but for the last 3 years is when it's grown.
Right. Yeah, and you were telling me that you started this as almost like a kid, taking in animals.
I've been bringing home dogs and cats ever since I was a child.
And Terri, how did you kind of evolve into this love of animals and rescue work?
Oh, I've loved animals. I'm a huge animal lover, and when I adopted Mikey, you know, I knew nobody was going to adopt him because he was 10. Like she said, they're harder to adopt. He had one eye.
Flea infested when you got him, a throwaway or abandoned.
Arthritis. We had to give him a lot of medication, and I said, nobody's going to adopt this dog. They're going to have to put him to sleep. So I just took him, and he was with us for 9 months, and it was the best 9 months for him that he'd ever had. And he was so sweet, and he wasn't hard to take care of, even though with the problems.
Had a lot of medical needs.
Yes, and it's not that, and that's really what I wanted to get out today to people. It's don't be afraid if they're they had a leg amputated or if they're blind or deaf. I mean, they're still the sweetest. I mean, and they're not that hard to take care of, any harder than a brand new puppy or anything. So, and now we have a pug, and she's totally blind, that we got from Paws and Claws, and that dog is the sweetest in the whole world. I mean, the girls, my daughters just love her. I mean, she is so easy to get along with, and she's 10, and but she's in really good shape, and she can get around. She smells, and she can get where she wants to go.
Oh, bless her heart.
Well, I see it's time for us to take another short break.
Right.
And we have a happy tale this time about Baby Girl.
That's right.
And so you folks will enjoy this one. Take a listen.
Hi, doll. My name is Baby Girl, and I'm about a 10-year-old pug. Well, a few months ago, I didn't have much hope of a forever home because, well, I'm old, and I'm almost totally blind. So who would want me? Well, Terri came to the shelter, and she decided that she would adopt me. And things could not have worked out better, girl. Kennedy and Sydney, that's Terri and Troy's 2 daughters. Well, they make me feel so comfortable. And the other dogs in the household, well, they love me too. And I feel the love of the entire family. Sydney just loves to roughhouse, and even though I'm old, I love it. Thanks to the Nelsons, I have a happy forever home.
Welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed that little happy tale about Baby Girl. She's just a sweet little animal.
And wasn't she lucky?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think any animal that is able to find an adoptable and happy home
Like that.
is very, very lucky.
And be a family treasure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking today with Shannon Lacewell and Terri Lee Nelson from Paws, Claws, and More, rescue and transport organization based
Who
in Mayfield.
have great vet bills and great gas bills. So Greg and I would like for you to accept this donation.
Thank you.
Help a cat.
Thank you.
Okay.
We will.
Or
Well, no, this is kind of in memory
For cat.
of our cats that have passed on.
Thank
So
you.
help a cat, help another Bitsy.
I will.
Okay, good.
well, and we'd like to review again
Yes.
the contact information of how you can get a hold of these two ladies.
Okay.
So, Shannon, let's start with you. If people want to contact you for maybe they're looking for adoptions or want to help, and we'll come back and talk about more of the kind of things that you need with that in just
Okay.
a minute. But contact information, how can they get in touch with you?
For example, if I want to make a donation, where would I send it to?
P.O. Box 82, Wingo, Kentucky 42088.
Okay, and a website?
It's pcmrescue@comcast.net.
All right, and an email. So I'm going to tell you, I'm an extra pair of hands to help with those 80 animals,
It's Lacewell Shannon@yahoo.com.
and a telephone number.
270-705-5794.
All right.
And if some of you folks in Paducah would like to contact Terri, how can they do that, Terri?
It's Nelson Terri, Terri, Lee, Lee @hotmail.com.
All right.
Well, now, and one of the things, well, let's see, before we get to that, we've got one more story. We don't want to forget about Bailey. So, Shannon, tell us about Bailey.
Bailey is a little chihuahua that we pulled from the Missouri shelter who stayed with us for over a year because she was so shy. She would run behind furniture when anybody came into the room. And she became attached to me. So we finally took her to PetSmart a couple of times, and the lady in the picture adopted her, and she's doing really well with her.
Oh.
She's come out of her shell, but she was with us for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
We just love
So
these
it's
success
very hard
stories.
to give her up.
To give her up, yes.
We just love these kind of success stories and just
Yeah.
wish we could have millions and millions
have
more.
more of them.
Absolutely. Well, now, when we talk about the needs, we touched on that earlier, but let's go back a little bit. Volunteers. What can volunteers do? Terri, a little bit what you do, and then Shannon, some of the things that down in your neck of the woods. So,
Mostly what I do is, she does all the hard work, but I try to get, people involved here to donate at our office where I work, and I also try to find places like Kroger's to, besides PetSmart, to have the events.
To have adoption events.
Right, and also at our spa, we if you purchase a product or
Make a donation. You have a little discount.
yes, and also on any procedure or anything they want, we give a portion to Paws and Claws with those events.
Oh, how wonderful.
and of course, you also been involved with some fundraising opportunities up here too.
Yes.
Those have gone fairly well, as I understand, and people need to look out and check the media for those because they're always advertised, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And when it comes to volunteers, you always need people to help bring the animals, take care of the animals, do the publicity,
Oh, yes,
clean
definitely.
up, follow
Yes,
through
yes.
on adoption. So
Yes.
the list is almost endless, right?
Yes, it is. So anybody that wants to help, just email
Contact-
me and I will call you.
There's always something somebody can do.
Right.
It doesn't have to be financial, but it's time and
Absolutely.
things like that.
Time, yeah.
Now, down with your
In Mayfield.
in Mayfield, what kinds of volunteers would be most helpful to you at that point, Shannon?
Well, the most helpful would be people who'd want to come with us to PetSmart. There is a group at PetSmart every weekend, and everybody loves to see volunteers
every
come.
weekend?
There's somebody there every weekend, some
From-
group. My group is there about
Oh, I see.
part of 5 weekends a month.
Okay.
So there's always somebody there needing help. And to walk dogs, water dogs, just play with the dogs.
While they're at PetSmart waiting to hopefully being adopted,
Yes.
okay? And somebody in your organization has to physically bring the animals from Mayfield, right?
We do. We usually bring somewhere around 25 dogs, if not more.
Oh boy, how many cages you must have.
Yes, that's a lot just setting up.
Oh, that's, yes, physically just setting up.
Yeah, I mean, they're all collapsible crates, so they have to be carried in and out of the trailer and newspaper put in them. We go through a lot of newspaper.
And of course, since you have some fostering down there, people can always donate food
Yes.
that will help with the care of the animals and anything else that would make an animal more comfortable
Yes.
and sustainable until we can find him a home. So, out of curiosity, about how many fosters do you have in the Mayfield area?
We
Yeah.
have, not just in the Mayfield area, but even the Fulton
Right,
area,
in
we have
Paducah.
about 4 people who help us.
Okay.
Okay, would take in an animal.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier, you said cats and dogs and more?
Yeah, we have birds too.
Oh, you have
We've
birds?
rescued birds. We just got 4 rabbits and 2 chinchillas. So
Oh,
we
boy.
don't, I mean, we take everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a farm you must have.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Shannon, what one kind of summary, last thing would you like our members, our audience to know about your Paws, Claws, and More?
That we are still taking animals from people and trying to help everybody that we possibly can. And I tell people, just call me every week. Please don't drop your dog, or cat or bird.
Don't
Don't set your bird free. Just keep calling, and I will help you.
Okay. And Terri, what's the comment you want to leave for our hopeful volunteers out there?
Yes, to please just let me know, and I can definitely find something for you to do. And also for anybody that is wanting to adopt, just keep in mind the older dogs that do have, some issues, that they're still excellent and wonderful pets.
Aren't we fortunate, Greg,
No.
that we have so many support people and
Yes.
groups for the love of animals?
And we could go on talking
I
about all
know,
these
and
things all
doesn't
day.
time, it just passes so quickly.
Absolutely, and we'd like to thank you to Shannon Lacewell
Thank
from Paws, Claws, and More,
More.
director there, and Terri Lee Nelson here in Paducah, who's
Okay.
a volunteer with the organization. Thank you so much for taking time to share your stories with us today and the kind of work that you do, and you're really to be commended, and we hope that our viewers can provide a lot of help for you.
Absolutely, we hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm
goes
Greg.
fast.
Yes, I know it.
I'm Darlene.
And we'd like to have our viewers remember the thing we always say. Give your pet a little extra love today and every
every day.
day. See you next time.
And remember Mikey. Bye.
Absolutely.